This is the Tejas, India's very own guardian of the skies.
So, think about it for a second. How does a nation really become a military heavyweight? Is it just about having the biggest army, or buying the most advanced tech from other countries, or, is it something deeper, something more fundamental than that?
Well, a lot of people will tell you the real answer is self-reliance. It's about having the ability to forge your own path, design your own tools, and ultimately control your own destiny. And that right there is the very heart of the Tejas story.
Now, the Tejas program didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It was born from a very clear, very strategic need for India to develop its own cutting-edge combat aircraft and, well, to take charge of its own defense.
For decades, the Indian Air Force flew a mix of really capable but frankly aging foreign jets. So the goal for this new homegrown program was incredibly ambitious. Design and build a single aircraft that could eventually replace these legendary workhorses.
But this was never just about building a new plane. The Tejas program quickly became a cornerstone of a much bigger national idea, known as Atmanirbhar Bharat, which means a self-reliant India. It's a massive push to shift from being a top importer of military gear to becoming a designer and a manufacturer in your own right.
Okay, so how did this incredible journey actually get started? Well, the first big modern leap forward was the Tejas Mark 1A. This was the version that packed some serious upgrades and really proved what the program was capable of.
And the Mk1A, let me tell you, it wasn't just some prototype, it was a serious fighting machine. It brought in all these crucial modern technologies. You've got a powerful ASA radar, which gives the pilot this crystal clear picture of the battlefield. It could fire long-range missiles, had a sophisticated electronic warfare suite to survive in hostile airspace, and it could even refuel in midair to stay on mission longer.
And here's the proof in the pudding. A huge moment came when it successfully test-fired the homegrown Astra missile. This showed that the Tejas Mk1A could hit targets from over 100 kilometers away. That's an absolutely critical capability for any modern fighter jet.
But the story doesn't stop there. Not even close. With the next version, the Tejas Mark II, we're not just talking about an upgrade, we are talking about a whole new beast entirely.
This is maybe the most important thing to understand. The Tejas Mk1A is what you'd call a light combat aircraft. The Tejas Mk2, that's being developed as a medium-weight fighter. And believe me, that's not just a name change. It's a massive jump in size, power, and capability that pushes the Tejas into a whole different league.
And just look at the numbers here. The MQ-2 is longer, it can take off with a much heavier load, it can carry way more weapons, and it holds more fuel. What does that all mean? It translates directly into longer range, more firepower, and a ton more flexibility for any given mission.
Building a next-gen fighter jet isn't something that happens overnight. The journey for the Mk2 officially kicked off way back in 2009. After more than a decade of design work, the first metal was finally cut in 2021. The plan is to get it in the air for its first flight by 2026, and then hopefully start mass production around 2029. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Okay, this is cool. One of the most revolutionary parts of the Tejas M2 is actually where the pilot sits. The cockpit is a complete reimagining of how a pilot is supposed to interact with their plane, especially in the heat of combat.
And this quote from Wing Commander Sidhart just nails it. The cockpit is designed for the future. The whole idea is to change the pilot's job from just being a systems operator, flipping switches and managing dials, to being a true tactical decision maker.
Just look at this comparison. We're going from a sea of buttons and switches to this clean, intuitive interface that's dominated by a giant touchscreen. Automation is everything here. The systems can handle a lot of the work on their own, letting the pilot focus on the big picture, the actual fight.
So how does it do that? How does it actually reduce the pilot's workload? It's through this amazing tech called sensor fusion. Basically, the plane's brain gathers information from all its sensors, the radar, infrared, you name it. Then it fuses all that data together to create a single, clear, tactical picture for the pilot. It's a total game changer for situational awareness.
A smart cockpit is one thing, but what about pure combat power? Let's take a look at what the Tejas Mk2 can actually bring to the fight and what that means for India's future.
First up, versatility. The MQ-2 has 11 hardpoints. You can think of these like docking stations for all sorts of things: missiles, bombs, fuel tanks, sensor pods. This gives the pilot incredible flexibility to set the jet up for literally any kind of mission.
Next, let's talk about sheer firepower. This aircraft can carry a staggering 6,500 kilograms of weapons and gear. That is a massive amount of ordnance that it can deliver on target.
And this one is just astounding. The Tejas Mk2 can carry up to 10 beyond visual range missiles at the same time. According to officials, no other single-engine fighter in its class can even come close to that air-to-air capability.
And here we are, full circle, back to self-reliance. The program has set this incredibly ambitious goal to eventually have over 90% of the aircraft's parts be homegrown. Now, that is insanely difficult to do. It means building up a huge domestic industry for everything from the airframe to the avionics. But if they can pull it off, it means not just military independence, but a gigantic boost to India's entire high-tech sector.
So when you put it all together, the advanced cockpit, the heavy payload, the insane missile capacity, all wrapped in a homegrown design, it becomes crystal clear why the Tejas Mk2 is set to become the absolute backbone of the Indian Air Force for decades to come.
From a small light combat aircraft to a truly formidable medium-weight fighter, the journey of the Tejas is this incredible story of ambition, persistence, and technological evolution. It really leaves us with one final question. With its homegrown Guardian ready to take to the skies, is India's Air Force entering a fundamentally new era of power and self-reliance?